gone through the DC transient response, and we have seen that how this DC transients affect the system, and what is the response of RL and RC circuits, the DC excitation input or the step excitation input. Okay, so I hope till here it is clear about the DC excitation. Now, uh, now we will go through the AC excitation of the system. So if you have any questions till now on the DC excitation or any of the queries which you want to ask regarding the simulation that we have done yesterday, about the simulation that we have done yesterday, you can ask, and then we can start our uh, AC transient response. If you have any questions, or should we start the AC transient response? If you have any confusion, you can ask. Otherwise, I am starting. Let me share my screen to you first. So I am sharing my screen. Let me pin it to you. So my voice is clear. You can respond in the chat box. My voice is clear. Okay, Abdullah, I have got the message. Thank you. Let us go directly to our lecture number 12, which is on the AC transients. Now, let me just share this screen. Yes. So, I would like to, this is lecture number 12 on AC transients. Okay. So, we will be discussing about the AC transients of a circuit. So, particularly, we will be taking the most common circuit, which is RL circuit. Okay. Resistance with an inductance circuit. Okay. You can also write down these with me so that it becomes clearer to you. Uh, you can write down in the AC circuit, in the AC circuit, based on selection of circuit elements, it is possible to obtain a transient free response for first order circuits. That means if you are having one inductance, if you are having L or C, then you can have a transient free response, which is for first order circuits, which is not possible, which is not possible in DC circuits. In DC circuits, the first important thing is that we can have the transient free response in RL circuit as well as RC circuit. Okay, that means we can have a situation in which the circuit does not go through the transient part, but goes directly reaches the steady state part. Let's see how it will happen. Okay, so let us start the first circuit, which is the RL circuit. Okay, and similarly, you can also derive it for RC circuit. So I am doing it for RL circuit. So let us take voltage source, which is now an AC voltage source, VT, let us take a switch and R and L. So you are having R and you are having L. And the switch is now closed at T is equal to 0. Okay, so we want to get the total response of the circuit. Total response of the circuit. Okay, so we can write down and it should be remembered that Vt here is Vm sine of omega t plus tau. So we can write down V is equal to IR plus L I by dt. This is our basic governing equation. Where now the response of the circuit, is not AC, where the excitation of the circuit is not AC, but it is DC. Please wait a minute. Okay, so the response of the circuit is not DC. The voltage which we are now putting in the circuit is now not DC but AC. So so what we can do, if we know that the response, if the excitation of the circuit is AC, then the response of the circuit should be also AC. It is clear up till now? It is clear? So that means the current IT can have two parts now. One is the transient part and another is the steady state part. One is transient part, another is the steady state part. So till now we have also seen that every DC circuit response also have two parts, that is transient part and the steady state part. So for AC circuits also we can have two relationships, that is transient relationship and steady state relationship. Okay, let me stop here and discuss something with you. Let me get back to my screen. Uh, okay, anybody of you could tell how we can determine the transient response and the steady state response in the case of AC circuits? Can we write it with our previous knowledge directly, or it needs something else? Anybody? How we can determine the transient response of the circuit?
So side need phasor diagram.
Phasor diagram, okay. For transient response, what should I do? That is the question. For getting the transient response of the circuit in the case of AC, because now the forcing function is not DC but it is AC, Vm sine of omega t plus theta. So what should I do, and what should I do for steady state response? Okay, so the answer is very simple. For getting the transient response, the input has no role to play in that. As you know, as I have already told you in many classes, that transient transient response does not depend on excitation. Okay, that means the type of excitation, whether it is DC or AC, the response, the transient response does not depend on that. Basically, it is a input response. Okay, that means for DC and AC both, we can write down the same transient response. Only the steady state response, which is the forced response, it depends on, ये डिपेंड करता है आपका एक्साइटेशन पे, किस तरह का एक्साइटेशन है, इस पे ये डिपेंड करेगा कि आपका स्टेडी स्टेट रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ द सिस्टम क्या है। लेकिन जहां तक ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ द सिस्टम की बात है, इट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ द टाइप ऑफ एक्साइटेशन, whether it is DC or AC, or in other words, or in other words, if you have an equation like this, V is equal to Ri plus N di by dt, which is a first order differential equation, then the transient response, of I can be found by putting excitation is equal to 0. That means there is no need for excitation for getting a transient response. Okay, so that means I can write down directly that for getting transient response, I can also write it directly. Transient response will be same as in the case of DC, so I can directly write down as A RT by L. That will be the transient response. But if you want to solve through the differential equation, you can also write down di by dt plus R by L I is equal to 0 for transient response. So you will get this similar equation where needs to be determined. Where A needs to be determined. Okay. So this is something. Now, when the transient response is known to us, that means for complete solution लिखने के लिए we need transient response plus steady state. Now, if this steady state response we have already studied in the fourth year. What will be the steady state response? Can anybody tell? Let us draw a phasor in which this is R. Now, since this is AC part, we cannot write L, but we have to write XL. XL is equal to J times omega L. Okay, J times omega L. So this will become Z. Z is equal to R plus JX. Okay, JXL, and this is the angle, which is the angle through phase angle of the impedance, that we can denote it with alpha. So the current I in steady state can be written as in phasor form P upon Z at an angle of alpha. So basically it will be P by Z at an angle of minus alpha if you take it to the numerator. So for a steady state response, steady state response, I can write it down like this. IT is equal to V by Z or Vm by Z. Should take the peak magnitude Vm by Z sine of omega t plus theta minus alpha, because by the current will be lagging this voltage Vm sine omega t plus theta. So current would be lagging by this voltage Vm sine omega t. Our excitation was Vm by Z sine of omega t plus theta, where theta is the phase angle, and alpha is the angle through which the current is now lagging behind the input source voltage. So this is the expression you already know from your first year classes. In the case of DC, finally the response became DC. Okay, in the case of AC, after the transient part, the response will become purely sinusoidal. Only the phase difference will be little bit different depending upon whether the circuit is RL circuit, RC circuit, or RLC circuit. Okay, only the phase will be different. Otherwise, all the things will remain the same. Okay, that means if you are having a DC excitation, you will get a DC response. If you are having an AC excitation, you will get a AC response. Only difference is that you will have a phase difference and a transient part will remain same as it has remained. So that means I can now write the complete response. complete response I E for t greater than 0, that will be equal to a times e to the power minus r e by n, that is a e to the power minus t by tau plus Vm by z sine of omega t plus theta minus phi. Okay. So this is the complete response which one you can get in the case of AC. Okay. Till now it is clear. Till now it is clear. Any questions till now? Please ask. Otherwise, you will not be able to solve numericals on that. If you have any questions till now, please ask. I am waiting for your question. You can put on your chat box also if you don't want to. Any questions till now? Should I move forward? Should I move forward? You can write in the chat box. Should I move forward or you need explanation? Ahmad Khan is asking from where we are getting the transient response. Ahmad, we are getting the transient response because we are switching it. We are switching the circuit. The RL circuit is there. Only the excitation has changed. So energy storing element is already there. That is L. Okay. So the status of current through the L cannot be changed instantaneously. Okay. That's why we are getting the transient response. It is same as the case of DC. Only the excitation has changed. So only if the excitation has changed, the response has also changed. Earlier the excitation was DC, so we are getting the final steady state value as DC. Now the response excitation is AC, so we are getting the final steady state value as AC. But the transient response of this in the case of AC and DC, the expression has remained same because the transient response does not depend on the input of the system. Okay, it does not depend whether it is step input or sinusoidal input or some other input. Okay, only the steady state response will change. That is the forced response of the system. Now the system is forcing the current to become sinusoidal. Earlier it was forcing the current to become a DC value. So it was like a DC value. Now it is forcing the system to become a sinusoidal value. So it's now a sinusoidal value in the steady state. Okay. So let us move forward. I hope I have answered the question. Any other thing you would like to ask till now? You can put in your chat box or quickly you can unmute and ask. Okay. So let us move forward. Now, how to determine this value of A? Now we have calculated. Yes. Yes, transient response is for very little time. So as you can see at t is equal to infinity, the transient response is getting to 0. Okay, so that's why it is for very little time. Okay, now uh, let us determine, try to calculate, let us try to calculate the value of A. Okay, so the value of A can be find out easily. We know that I, let us assume, that I L0 was 0. Okay, that was the inductor current initially had the inductor was not storing any energy initially. So the initial inductor current will be 0. Now, if it is 0, then I can quickly put it in this equation. That is our final equation. Let us mark this equation as equation 2. Now put this equation in that I0 is 0. That means after 0 plus will also be 0. So 0, put uh, this condition in 2. So what we get, 0 is equal to A plus Bm by Z sine of theta minus alpha. That means A has come out to be equal to minus Vm by Z sine of theta minus alpha. Okay. This is the value of A. This is the value of A. Now put this in the above equation. After finding the value of A, after finding the value of A, we can put it back to the equation. So IT will become minus Vm by Z sine of theta minus alpha e to the power minus RT by L plus Vm by Z sine of omega t plus theta minus alpha. So this is the total current or the complete response, IT, or the complete response of the RL circuit. Complete response of the RL circuit. Now, this equation, can you tell what is the condition? What is the transient part? Let me clarify it to you once again. This is I transient, okay, and this is I TD state. The steady state is pure sinusoid, as you can see. Transient after some time will die out because it is multiplied with a decreasing exponential, which is decreasing at the rate of minus r by e to the power minus r by l. Now, what is the condition that I transient is equal to 0? Can you tell on this equation? Can you tell what is the condition? The correct, it's very easy.
Sir,
And see,
equal to n.
somebody else.
Is theta minus alpha equal to n pi for n is different integer.
Yes, yes, correct. That is also correct. It's very, very simple. If you see, if this theta minus alpha has some value which is equal to n pi, then the transient response of this will not come. Okay, so easily we can write down for transient free operation. For transient free operation, we can have the condition of theta um, minus alpha is equal to 0, or theta minus alpha that is equal to some integral multiple of n pi, because as you know that the pi is the sine function is 0 at this condition. So the
Then
easiest condition. So that means if the simplest condition we take, then theta is equal to alpha. Okay. If we are considering only one condition, then theta is equal to alpha is the simplest condition. Now, if this theta is equal to alpha, then what is alpha? Alpha is equal to, from the triangular vector diagram, if this is R and this is XL and this is Z and this is alpha. So alpha is equal to tan inverse omega L by R. Okay. So if theta is made, and theta is that means theta, if it is equal to tan inverse omega L by R. And what is theta? Theta is the phase difference at which the point, the switch is closed. So if theta is controlled in such a manner that theta is equal to the alpha and alpha is the impedance angle of the RL circuit, then you can get a no transient. No transient in the system will be noticed. Okay, no transient in the system will be noticed. So this is something very, very unique, which is only possible in the case of RL or RC circuits, that the system, if controlled properly, that means if theta is equal to alpha or its n phi, then the system will not experience will not experience any transients. Okay, so this is something very, very important which you should keep in your mind. Another thing is, another case which we can also say, that if switch is not closed, this we take as case 2. If switch is not closed at t is equal to 0, but at t is equal to t naught. Okay, so we have just now we have assumed that the switch was closed at t is equal to 0. So that means at t is equal to 0 plus, the inductor current should also remain 0 if it was earlier 0. Now, if we are having a situation in which the switch is not closed at t is equal to 0 but t is equal to t naught, then the general expression can be written like this: a e to the power minus r by l, as you have already done, t minus t naught, okay, plus Dm by z sine omega t plus theta minus alpha. Now, the condition for determination of A will change. For determination of A, we have to put I T naught is equal to 0. Not I 0, but I T naught is equal to 0. So I T naught minus, if it was 0, then I T naught plus should also be 0. So that means if you put these conditions, the value of A will change and it will be 0 A plus Dm by Z sine of omega T naught plus theta minus alpha. Okay, so A will be equal to minus Vm by Z sine of omega T naught plus theta minus alpha. Okay, so now for transient free response, the steady state will remain same, but for transient free response, what we need to do? We need to write it like this, that omega T naught plus theta minus alpha should be equal to 0, which earlier was only theta minus alpha, because T naught was 0. Now, if you have switched on at t is equal to T naught, then T naught factor will also come. So, omega T naught will be equal to alpha minus theta, and T naught will be equal to alpha minus theta divided by omega. That means this is the time, this is the time T naught, which is equal to alpha minus theta by omega. That means if you are going to switch on your switch at this instant of T naught, which is equal to alpha minus theta by omega, then you can get no transient. No transient will be observed. So we have written it in terms of time. Okay, if T is equal to T naught. Okay, so it is generally asked in many is equal to tan inverse omega n by r. Theta is the phase difference angle of the also, if you have a sinusoidal excitation like this, V equal to Vm sine of omega t, then theta will, the time t naught will be directly written as alpha by omega. Theta is the radial frequency of the voltage, which is equal to 2 by f. Okay, so this is how the transient response of RL circuit can be determined. Uh, it is not very difficult if you have seen the concept, but the transient free operation, the caution here is the transient free operation is not possible in second order circuit. Transient free response is not possible in second order circuit. Okay, second order. Because you see the second order circuit, if you have an underdamped response, IT transient will be, as you have already written, B1 cos of omega dt plus B2 sine of omega dt e to the power minus alpha t. This you have already written in the previous class. So cos and sine cannot be zero. Cos and sine can't be zero. Okay. The steady state response will be same. In the case of RLC series or parallel circuit, it will be Vm by Z, where Z will be equal to under root R square plus omega n minus 1 over omega c the whole square. So this is already, you know, from the vector diagram first year, this will be R, this will be xl minus xc, and this will be Z. So Z will be equal to under root of R square plus xl minus xc the whole square. So this is for true for R and C circuit. Okay, if you have a sinusoidal excitation for that, but the transient response will remain same as in the case of DC. You have calculated the transient response. The transient response for AC will also remain same. Hence, the transient free operation is not possible in the case of second order circuit. Because cos and sine will not be zero. Okay, so you can write down in RLC circuit, it is not possible to obtain a transient response if the circuit is having two n storage elements, and cos and sine terms will equal to zero simultaneously. There will be no transient response, which is important to remember. Now, I would like to show you the similar thing, this theory which we have gone through in the similar theory which we have gone through in the simulation also. Okay, so that in that way we can complete this topic. Okay, so let us change my screen. Uh, Let us change my screen to the simulation screen. Okay, let us change my screen to the simulation screen. I hope it is now visible to you. Is it visible? There is a good question which I would like to answer, that is asked by Irshad Khan, Shayan Irshad Khan. He is asking, sir, is there any benefits of removing transient part? Yes, Irshad, there are benefits of removing transient part, because in AC circuits, usually transients can have very high magnitudes, which can be much higher than the load current. Okay, especially for an underdamped systems, the oscillation which the system will be having, because as you know, as you have already seen in the yesterday's part also, that the transient can be oscillatory, and if the resistance is less, then the system can go towards a undamped system. Okay, so transients usually should not remain in the system for very long period of time because there is no benefit in getting transient. What we are concerned is with the steady state response. That is the response which we are going to measure. Okay, from where that RMS value which we are calculating is the steady state part. Okay, we are interested in the RMS value of the AC current which we usually calculate for the steady state part. So transient response is the natural response of the system. We don't have any control over it. But if we can control that response for our usefulness, then it will be very good because we are not getting any useful thing from the transient response. Whatever useful voltage, power, current we are getting is from the steady state response. So transient is just the behavior of the circuit. Suppose you can assume it's a crude example, but you can assume it like this. For example, in the morning when you are lying in the bed or sleeping, or I am sleeping or you are sleeping, then if you have taken adequate amount of sleep, then there is no point in lying on the bed. But everybody, if you are being awakened up, you will take some time. You will take some time to get to the steady state part. Okay. So the actual work will only start if you get into the steady state part. Otherwise, if you are lying, there cannot be, other than sleeping or taking rest, there cannot be any useful work which is done. So but that doesn't mean if you can quickly, in a 1 second, you take out from your bed and quickly you can attend class. Okay, if you need some time, you will have your you will go to your, you will take a bath. So all these activities, then only you can become in a steady state. So that part is the natural response of the system. Then only you can come into the steady state. Okay. So the transient part, the energy storing element part is reacting in a circuit because the actual concept remains same, that the energy of the system cannot be brought down to zero in zero time. That is the concept which you should keep in your mind. Okay, you cannot pull a very heavy or a small object from one position to another position in zero time. That is the second law of Newton. Okay, that relates momentum with time. Okay, that relates momentum with time. Similarly, that analogy can also be extended for electrical circuits, which are also having inertia. The only difference is that the inertia is electrical, not mechanical. In the case of mechanical systems, it is mechanical inertia, that is the energy stored in the mass of the system. Okay. Now let us see the simulation so it becomes more clear. There you will be observing few things here. Okay. So let me put my switch to this position 1 and start the simulation. So I have started the simulation, and what I am observing is the inductor current. Okay, so let us see how this inductor current is changing. You see, the steady state has reached, and the current is quite sinusoidal. Okay, if I take out, let me stop this simulation, and I take voltage also. Uh, Let us plot the voltage also at the above side, so it becomes more clearer to you what is how this voltage is changing. So I am taking source voltage and I am connecting it to like this. Now I am running the simulation. Okay. So I have taken a 50-volt source. Now this is the response which I am getting. Okay, the simulation is still running. Simulation is still running. Okay, so you please observe this part, initial part. Okay, this from please observe the voltage first. Please observe the voltage first. The voltage is perfect sinusoid. The voltage is perfect sinusoid. It is having a peak magnitude of plus 50 and minus 50 with a frequency of 50 hertz. Now, if you see the current, which is the inductor current from this part, which I am putting my mouse, okay, from this part, if you can see, this is the transient part of the current. current is not settling, but it is having its magnitude is decreasing. You see, the envelope is decreasing, the magnitude is decreasing, the magnitude is decreasing, and after some time, you see the magnitude has become constant. Now you see the positive value is equal to the positive value at each cycle. Only the current magnitude is small because I have taken large resistance. The current magnitude is quite 3 amperes, but it is now constant. So this part, and you can see the phase difference also. You can see the phase difference also. See the phase difference. Okay, the peak of the voltage here is the peak of the voltage is here, and the peak of the current is here. So that means current is lagging behind or reaching the peak after a greater period of time. So why it is lagging? Because it is an RL circuit. If it could have been an R circuit, then the phase difference would be zero. So as you can see, this is alpha. So the difference between here to here, let me show you. Let me show you. Okay, so this difference of this peak and this peak. So this difference in time, if you convert it into the angle, it will be the phase, the impedance angle. So where is the transient part? Transient part is only this in the beginning. Okay, from here to here, this is the transient part. This is the transient part. After that, the steady state part has started. Okay, so let me change the value of R and see if there is some change. So I have taken only very small resistance. So let me uh, take some value of resistance, for example 2 ohm, and then again simulate it. So it becomes a RL circuit now. Okay, earlier it was R circuit. So as you can see, I have taken the value, increased the value of R. So the response, the transient period has still decreased. The response, the system has reached the steady state value at a very quick state. Okay. So I can also change the value of inductance. For example, I have taken a very heavy value of inductance. So I should stop my simulation and make this value even smaller. For example, I may take it as 20 microhenry. And let us see what happens now. So for very small values of L, we are seeing that the transient response has almost vanished. Okay, the transient response is almost vanished. Why? Can you tell me that for very small values of L, the transient response is almost vanished? You are seeing the perfect sinusoid from the first cycle. Why it is happening? Can anybody tell? Earlier, when I have the higher value of L, I was observing a transient. Now, in the first cycle, at 0 time only, I am getting a pure sine wave. Why? Can anybody tell? बता सकते हैं आप कि ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस कहाँ गया? Okay, so let again run the simulation and see what is happening. So I stop the simulation, put the switch here. Okay, now I am energized. Let's see what is happening. So I am starting the simulation. The voltage is there, but there is no current. Voltage is there, but there is no current. I am not switching. Let me switch. I have switched. I have switched. At this moment, I have switched. Now see, at this moment, very quickly, you observe the steady state response. स्टेडी स्टेट रिस्पांस बिकॉज आप देखो स्टेडी स्टेट रिस्पांस ही आपको दिख रहा है क्योंकि हर साइकिल में जो भी सिग्नल आ रहा है उसका मैग्नीट्यूड इक्वल है. कहने का मतलब ये है कि ट्रांजिएंट रिस्पांस तो कहीं आया ही नहीं. ऐसा क्यों हुआ? कोई बता सकता है ऐसा क्यों हुआ? ऐसा इसलिए हुआ कि आपने इंडक्टेंस की वैल्यू बहुत कम कर दी है। ठीक है, आपने रेजिस्टेंस की वैल्यू तो चेंज नहीं करी। नहीं, मैंने कोई ये जानबूझ के नहीं किया है कि मैंने उस पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट पे स्विच कराया है जिस पॉइंट पे आपको ट्रांजिएंट फ्री रिस्पांस मिलेगा, क्योंकि मैंने अभी कैलकुलेट तो किया नहीं है कि किस पॉइंट पे मैं स्विचिंग कराऊं। मैंने तो ऐसे ही रैंडम स्विचिंग करा दी। तो अगर आप देखो कि रेजिस्टेंस जो है वो 2 ओम है और इंडक्टेंस कितना है, माइक्रो हेनरी में है, यानी 10⁻⁻⁶ है। ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि आपका सिस्टम जो है वो बेसिकली बिहेव कर रहा है एज अ रेजिस्टिव सिस्टम, क्योंकि इंडक्टेंस बहुत कम हो गया है। एल इज मच मच स्मॉलर देन आर। ओके, L is much smaller than R, so that's why you are not getting any transient response. So once I start increasing the value of L, let us take the value of L as uh, 2 Henry, okay, comparable to the magnitude value of resistance, and see what is happening. So then again, if you increase the value of inductance, you will find that the transient response of the system comes back into the system, and after certain period of time, it goes on to the steady state part with the current lagging. The important thing here is to remember is that if the response of the circuit is AC, if the response of the circuit is AC, then if the excitation of the circuit is AC, then the steady state response will also be AC. Only there will be a phase difference. And the other thing which you need to remember is that if the excitation of the system is DC, then the steady state response will also be DC. Whether it is current or voltage, both will be DC finally. Okay. The transient response does not depend on the excitation. If you have an excitation which is DC or AC, you will get a transient response depending upon the values of L and R, because in the formula the L and R are coming, e to the power minus RT by L. Okay, so depending upon the value of R, in the case of RC circuit, you will get R into C, that will be the time constant. In the case of RL circuit, you will get L by R into time constant. So it will depend on the values of L and R only, the transient response and the initial condition. Okay. So this much I have not taken any initial inductor current. Initial current was 0. You can also take some initial inductor current and then can simulate and see what is happening. Okay. So this much from my side. I am observing from 2-3 classes that less people are attending. I don't know the reason for that, but I think we should attend. Otherwise, should I will take the attendance for every class, and then all those things needs to be done. If you have any questions, you can ask.